Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, sis. Good morning, beautiful family. Thank you.
We're still in the reviews. We're on lesson 208, and sis has volunteered to take this one. So I'll be in a supporting role. Go ahead, sis.
Checking my internet to make sure I'm on the right internet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, good. So this review lesson is 208. Is that right?
Yes.
I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me. And the review lesson is from lesson 188. The peace of God is shining in me now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but now. Despite the fact that the ego is screaming in my ear, saying, you can't afford to have the peace of God now.
Yeah.
Get your shit together.
We
right?
gotta get the gap organized. We gotta overcome our real so-called problems in the gap. Mythical me has things to do before we can experience peace.
Yeah, so I love watching its action. It's like a cartoon character, you know. And it says the peace of God is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's
Right.
fine. Ego's fine with that. Peace of God's fine. But when there seems to be real things to take care of in the gap, real problems to solve, real relationship conflicts to overcome,
Yeah.
this cartoon character says to God, Holy Spirit, no, keep out.
Yeah.
I've got this. And
Right.
once I solve all of these problems
Mm-hmm.
and I find some semblance of peace, extra peace, then I may think of inviting you back in.
Right. Yeah. I'll get to you later.
Yeah.
You're a lovely thought, but you're impractical considering all that I'm facing.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Oh, you've got to laugh, right?
Yes, you do.
Oh. So that's it. So we're going to be to read this bit. Yes. Oh, okay, I'm listening. Oh, sorry. Two voices in my mind at once. So the review lesson is the peace of God is shining in me now. I will be still and let the earth be still along with me. And in that stillness, we will find the peace of God. It is within my heart, which witnesses to God himself. I am not a body. I am free. For I am still as God created me. It's interesting to see that just I'm looking at this and I'm seeing very, very clearly that the only way that we could be, the only way that we could be finding it difficult to access the peace of God is because we believe the problems that only a body identity could see.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. Mythical be its senses and the stories that are coming to it that it's so invested in making real. Mm-hmm.
So I can't access the peace of God in a holy instant while I'm getting off on the body.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Good or bad.
Yes.
You know, happy or painful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was taking a walk this morning and just noticing, like, I used to listen to music. I don't do that anymore. I usually use it to listen for the voice for God. And this morning it was just one thing after another, all from the past. And they're all suggestions to believe some line, some story, some line of reasoning, some image, some thought from, anything. And I'm just watching them, go by. And I'm recognizing none of these have power until I believe it, as soon as I give it some juice. Oh, I like that one. Let me chew on that for a while. And all of it is just not to be in that quiet, still place. It's my defense against the peace of God. But I'm now recognizing that, in every now moment, we do have that choice. And there's peace shining in me now. So what do you want? That's the only choice that we have.
Thank you, sis.
Mm.
I've got some points here that maybe we could just discuss rather than reading the whole lesson. It's quite a long lesson.
Sure. That's a great idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like what you just said then, sis, the peace of God is our natural state, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Apart from our choice to believe in fear. Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
The peace of God is accessed in awareness when we accept our shared, changeless, and uninterrupted innocence. So, but when we're in blame or shame or self-doubt or self-criticism or whatever it might be, we cannot access the peace of God that's already shining in us now.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have decided to believe and to value judgment above the peace of God, right?
Yeah, how can you have peace, even logically? How do we have peace if we're attacking? Attack is the defense against that peace of God, and all attack, it's like, it's one thing to say, I want the peace of God, the peace is shining in me. But while I have any desire or any thought of withholding that same truth of my brother's innocence along with my own, then that's attack. If there's attack in the mind, meaning you don't want to apply the truth equally to the sonship in its entirety, there's still attack thoughts in the mind, and that prevents us from entering that stillness where we experience peace. So either we're attacking ourselves or we're attacking another. It doesn't matter. It's the same one. The attack thought is there. Peace can't enter or arise. Yeah.
And that goes, that also goes with any thoughts I might have about my body's health, mm-hmm. or the feeling that I have in the body, either wanting to seek pleasure apart from God, or whether I feel the body is attacking me and betraying me, right?
That's
through
right.
disease or pain or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, because that's self-attack, right? That's still attack in the form of I'm choosing sickness. I'm choosing to attack this body in furtherance of the idea of separation, or I'm attacking God by saying, no, God, not your pleasure, not true joy, but my, whimsical temporary one. I'd rather have that. So it's always some form of attack. Yeah.
So the peace of God is shining in me now,
mm-hmm.
eternally, and never leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So the instant I get sidetracked by I choose to be sidetracked by the body, mm-hmm. or whatever it might be.
Whatever it is, yep.
Any attack thought at all, then what's actually happening is I'm choosing against the peace of God that's shining in me now.
Deliberately. It's a choice. It's a decision that we make.
All right. So then I'm hearing this question being asked. So what about physical pain? Mm-hmm. That's a very, very convincing illusion that seems to scream at us,
right?
To totally obscure that the peace of God is shining in me now. Mm-hmm. And yet, when it comes up, we're to choose the peace of God that is shining in us now.
That's right.
Over the very convincing illusion of pain. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
That's right. Because pain would be the greatest, I think, self-attack. He says sickness is a choice. We choose it, and then we quickly forget that it's a deliberate choice that we made, and that pain is the evidence to prove that choice, that we are a body, the choice for separation is real. But there is a peace that's also available shining in us, and we can turn, if we're willing to turn from the body and its complaints that we have issued, turn within the peace and seek the voice for Holy Spirit to remind us of what we are. That's the light and the love that dispels the fear or the sense of separation. That's the only problem. Remember, one problem, one solution. It's the choice for separation looking like sickness and pain. Well, that's still the choice for separation. And the cure is union with your holy self, our shared holy self. Believe it or not, it's not tinkering on the body. It's not manipulating the body. It's going within, finding that peace with the Holy Spirit. Yes, it can be difficult. We can join with a brother for that one holy instant. He says 1 instant will do it. 1 moment of clarity and fearlessness and pain, which seemed to be on a scale of a 10, will be gone in an instant. We both have experienced that.
Sorry, sis, yeah, thank you. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's the power of joining.
Yes.
That's where the acceleration of the collapse of time occurs, when we join with another who sees in light.
Yeah.
And because they're seeing in light, they're seeing through Christ's vision, they're able to actually hold that light for us and not go down the rabbit hole and believe in fear and collude with the ego and the fear in our own mind. Yeah.
Right.
Power of holy relationship and having miracle buddies.
Yes. I can see the peace in you when you forget, and you can witness to the peace that's shining in me now when I forget.
Yeah.
And because we're one, we're remembering for each other when the other doesn't seem to be able to in that moment. There's one of us here. It's not 2 private minds trying to do something. It's 2 people agreeing that there is one mind and witnessing to the state of that mind, which is pure peace.
Beautiful. Because 2 private minds who get together are 2 minds in darkness.
That's right.
Right.
And they clash.
Right. It's like, yeah, and they clash too. So when one mind is worried or in pain or whatever, and the other mind colludes with that and goes, oh, you poor thing.
Yeah. Magic?
Yeah, right. We've got 2 minds in darkness, right?
Yes. We've compounded the problem.
Right. Compounds the problem. They're blocking the light.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Okay. The peace of God is shining in me now. There is not one instant where the peace of God does not exist. Not one instant. There's never an instant where the peace of God does not exist. It is eternal and it's uninterrupted. Like, wouldn't it be so healing if we really believed that?
Yeah. Well, I met mine the other day when I turned within and found the Christ child just standing there with, 100% conviction, certainty, and it is peace. It's like, I don't believe in anything that you've made up, and I'm just standing here ready to take you back to the memory of our holy self, the Christ. So of course there's not 1 minute where it's gone, because it's you. it's your holy self available to you in your mind at any time that you want to turn away from what you thought you made and accept that the truth is true.
So sis, then talk about truth. We are the peace of God. Now, if we are the peace of God, we're also the joy of God.
Right. Yes.
You can't have that peace without God's joy.
That's right.
And his most beloved child's joy. They're one. Now, if we are the peace and the joy of God, We are also the love of God. What does that mean? That means it's all encompassing love.
Mm.
It's
Yes.
uninterrupted. And the love we are has no opponent. There is no opponent that can possibly threaten the love we are.
That's it.
That's it.
So that love just turns on whatever that, the storyline is, and it just subsumes it. It's like it's gone in its presence when we're willing to accept that I am love without opposite. I am an all-encompassing, omnipresent love. We are God's will, God's love. Yeah. And I love that you brought up that it's also joy, because that's what I was wrestling with this morning. It was like, okay, so the truth is true. Nothing that the mind is telling you is real. And you have a choice. You either say, you spout that the truth is true. You're extending to those saying, okay, well, this, the illusions aren't real, but you have a sad countenance. You're not joyful. So you're basically talking out of one side of your mouth, and the other side is your body and your demeanor, which says, it's really bad. It's a tough morning. It's like, I want to starve even that. Even joining with my sis, who I think I could just say anything to sis and it'll be totally, received. But why talk about nothing if I love my sis? Like, really, that's taking that stand and saying, so if joy is my character, my nature, my right, my inheritance, then I'm free to be joyful and to be joyful, step in and understand that that's, I don't want to give witness or evidence or be a player for the ego.
Thank you. So you don't want to teach attack.
That's a much better way of saying it. I don't want to teach attack. I don't want to be saying attack isn't real, but then walking around like, ugh. Well, it kind of is, sort of, once in a while.
Yeah, right. Okay, flip-flop.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm right there with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because as we ascend the ladder, we seem to come down in the separation. As we really get up those higher rungs, the ego is outraged.
Yes.
And it wants, it wants to turn the darkness up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the ego doesn't care. Go ahead, teach. Go ahead, talk all about how I'm unreal. But I know you believe in me because look at yourself, murmuring, fretting, fighting me. This unreal thing, it's like, there's something about coming into alignment also, with our holy self. And that means bringing the body into submission of our holy self and the way that we speak and act and talk. Yeah. 100% conviction, every area of our life brought into that, because it doesn't have the power to go rogue or get out of whack. It really doesn't.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
That's just so great to, to really join with someone else in this purpose, singular purpose.
Yes.
And it just is so good to have you, sis, to do that with. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, how can we sit here and say the peace of God is shining in me now, and then meanwhile,
I've got problems.
I got a lot of problems.
All problems disappear in the peace of God.
Yeah.
Yeah. And something else I have here too.
Sure.
Is everything that seems to disrupt this peace is an illusion that is desired specifically to block our awareness of this peace, that we are this peace, right? That's that the fear diagram that we did.
Yes.
And when we, it's not just the peace, the peace goes hand in hand with the joy, and the joy goes hand in hand with the gratitude that goes hand in hand with the love we are.
Right.
You cannot compartmentalize those. You can't compartmentalize peace. The ego does.
Right.
Right? Its version of peace, which is really attack.
Yes.
The same
Yes.
with its version of love.
Mm-hmm.
And its
Yeah.
version of joy, well, orgasm is its version of the highest joy possible.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
The physical body muscle spasm.
Muscle spasm, organ spasms, what I call it.
Yeah.
Sorry, call it.
You can say, oh, wow. Oh, well, never mind.
That is good. That is as good as this world gets. An organ spasm.
That's it. We do without the body. I mean, according to the ego's peak of joy, if we didn't have a body,
Mhm.
I remember a friend of mine who was very much into the body. And I would say to him, well, what would you do without the body's orgasm? What would happen without the body?
Mhm.
He said there'd be no life.
Wow. Yeah.
No life. There could be no life. There could be no life without that peak of joy through the body.
And you realize how much is created towards that. The whole, really the world is like, why do you want to look good? Why do you want the big house and the sports car? Why do you want to work out? Why do you care about the body? Its pleasures. It's like, whoa, we can back up and just see. And then everything supports that. Commercialism, movies, music, advertising.
It's a closed circuit paradigm.
Total.
Yeah, that's it. Right. Okay. So that's that. So, it's not like we need to effort in giving up all of these things.
No.
Right. It's not that all we need to do is to give Holy Spirit permission to divinely repurpose them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that we actually experience something real and more valuable, so that we will let go of what we thought was valuable.
Well, it lets us go. We don't actually give it up. That's the ego saying that. Oh, you have to give it up.
Right.
Well,
No.
You look at everything that you've gone through, sis, your development of trust.
Yeah.
Your transfer of trust. I look at everything, and there's nothing I deliberately gave up.
Yeah, it fell away.
It fell away. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then, of course, the peace of God came in to replace it.
Right.
The love of God, the joy of God.
Yeah. And you realize there was no sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And, so the only thing we need to do is to receive it. Yeah. Accept the peace of God and receive it, which is probably the hardest thing to do if we really do believe we are the ego, the mythical me. Yeah. And to rest in our incorruptible innocence, which is the peace of God shining in us now. Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's the gap in its entirety. A million different ways to keep us distracted from being still and accepting the peace of God. That's what you were opening up with. Yeah, I want the peace of God, but I got to go do this first. I got to achieve that first. And I fell asleep. I was going to receive the peace of God, and all of a sudden I got really drowsy. I'm going to go change the laundry, then I'll accept the peace of God. Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
So last little point I've got here too is about what happens if somebody I love has an accident, or somebody I love is suffering from a real illness.
Yeah. Well, do we believe it? Are we believing it at first? Are we triggered?
Right. Are we triggered?
Yeah.
Yes.
Shit, yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Then you're at choice.
On earth, are we going to accept that the peace of God is shining in us now, specifically specifically because of this, I just wanted to say this,
Mm-hmm.
is that the only way we can actually help the other person is if we're able to at least rest in the peace of God for an instant. That's where the atonement occurs. That's where the correction occurs by Holy Spirit, right?
Mm.
We have to reach that. We have to accept that. That means receiving it.
Right.
The peace of God. We've got to go there and receive that peace of God. Then we can extend that light to help the other person.
That's
because
it.
it's not the actual sickness or the pain or the accident or whatever it is. It is that they are unfortunately temporarily in
Yeah.
darkness. They need the light.
Yeah. There was a big vision that came to me a long time ago before I came to New Mexico. It was the hallway, and it's the difference between sympathy and compassion. And it's also the practice of staying in this hallway, in this place of peace, to be truly helpful to our brothers and sisters who seem to be mesmerized in off the hallway. There's all these rooms with movie screens playing, and each one has a different story. And we all know somebody who's like identified with a story to the extent that they think it's them, or they've given their whole life to it. They can spend lifetimes in those rooms off the hallway. And if you go into that room with them, you know, you've compounded the problem. You inevitably look up on the screen and start going with that. And now you've got two people totally asleep under the same lie. But it's that having that presence and the love for the one that says, I'm going to stay right here in this hallway, commune with the Holy Spirit, my right mind, and to receive and call them out of that room. So that might be a good thing to add down in the description box in the show more. We can put down, it's written out the hallway. I think that might be helpful.
So we might put that in just right there at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Check that out. That was really good. There's many, many layers. It was definitely him that gave it to me because it is a holographic teaching. Every time I read it, there something more would be given. So encourage you. Yeah.
That's very, very helpful. Very.
Yeah.
You know, can I just give a personal experience of this?
Why not? Yeah, I think that'd be great.
I mean, I've got lots, but there was one with you, Sis, that at one time, the ego completely tripped you up, it seemed.
Shocking. What?
I know. Yeah. Last year, right? Completely tripped you up in that it was trying to convince you that you were in diabolical physical pain.
Mm.
And that it took you even deeper. It tried to, and it hooked you just for a little while.
Mhm.
Right?
I don't remember this. What was
Yeah, it hooked you into believing that there actually was perhaps a cause for the actual pain,
Okay.
right? A
Mhm.
physical cause
Mhm.
that was getting worse.
Mhm.
We all get hooked on that. I get hooked on that lots.
Yeah.
But this particular incident, I remember you came to visit us, Daniel and I,
Mhm.
and you were beside yourself, which is
Mm.
not often. You don't get like that, but you
Mhm.
were beside yourself. And it was interesting to see my immediate reaction.
Hmm.
Yeah, which was the tsunami of fear that
Hmm.
seemed to roll in at a rapid speed. And I remember it just, in my mind, I was just saying, no, we need to slow this down, slow-mo.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not want this fear hitting me at full speed.
Mhm.
I fall under with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Can we stop right there for a second? Because this is a good point. So the world teaches that your loved one comes in the room and they're frantic and there's pain and they have a story and they come to you, and love, the ego's love would bid you, oh my gosh, what's wrong? Oh no, what can we do? We join that there's a real cause, and we start colluding together on how to fix that real problem. And they're both gone. No help can be given in that place. We're closed off to the Holy Spirit. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, sis.
Thank you for, thank you, because this is so helpful.
Yeah.
I wished I'd had this 25, 30 years ago. Right?
Yeah.
So I deliberately, I couldn't stop it in that instant, but I slowed it down, as it was, the tsunami was rolling in, it was all in slow-mo. And that gave me a few seconds in which to call upon Holy Spirit and to say, I accept only the truth. That's it for my sis. I love my sister way too much to go down the rabbit hole with her.
Yeah.
Myself. And at that point, it stopped. It was like a visual tsunami. It stopped, and then it just fell away, like just
yes,
totally pixelated.
Right.
There was nothing there. And I remember at the form level, remembering something, because I wanted to talk to you to get you right-minded at that time. But when I asked Holy Spirit, the answer was no speaking.
Yeah, wordlessly join.
So I was like, okay, all right, let's do that. And I joined with Daniel as well. And then Daniel also, because I joined with Daniel at the mind level with you, he went into that as well. We were both vertical. And what we decided to do was to hold you, physically hold you, and hold you in light as well, in the mind.
Yes.
So we just decided to use my bed, which is behind us there. We put you in the middle.
Yeah.
Dad was on one side, I was on the other. We closed our eyes, and just held you. Do you remember that?
I do. I remember coming into your room in a mad panic, and you'd actually been taking a nap. And then I just laid down next to you and went, oh my God, help. And then I know Daniel felt the call because he walked in the room a moment later and he laid down, and I put my hands in both of your hands, and I just remember returning to peace. And just, these tears were rolling down just from the lift of it. Felt like I just entered into some, sacred temple of where all the noise and calamity couldn't come in.
So sis, this is beautiful, because the peace of God is shining in me now. That's what was occurring for me and for Daniel.
That's it.
And because the two of us, bookended you, basically, then you couldn't help come into the light.
That's right.
God shone in your mind, and what happened to the physical pain?
Yeah, no, it's gone. It was gone.
Yeah. Just there's one of the many practical examples.
And that's a perfect example of holy relationship. That's the whole point of it. It's like, I'm not going to join you in your story. I love you too much. I'm going to shine that peace of God that's within me now and join with the peace that's really in me, that was there that I couldn't access. And that gap was closed. The gap that was screaming, Coreen and her gap was like just all up on steroids in that moment. So yes, that is a perfect example, perfect demonstration, available every now moment, because it's now.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, thanks to you and brother. That was beautiful. Yeah.
Well, we all were healed by that.
Yeah, it was really powerful.
We were together. I'll never forget it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. So good. And you can offer this to anybody at any time. It's that's true forgiveness.
And it's interesting. I am not a body. I am free. Still, as God created me. That was another experience. That was another layer of the experience we had, because as we joined in mind and heart in that light, the peace of God, the bodies disappeared, mind disappeared, yours disappeared. And
Yes.
Daniel's one.
Daniel's. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No awareness of bodies. Just a joining at the mind. Yeah. I remember that too.
Yeah.
Really powerful.
You know, it's a big temptation when somebody we love, okay, yeah, and when somebody that we feel falsely responsible for,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the ego loves false responsibility.
Sure. Yeah.
It increases guilt and it keeps us in fear.
Right.
So, you know, if we've got false responsibility for our children or our partners or whoever, other loved ones, then we're going to find this particularly challenging to do when that loved one has seemingly, you know, they're seemingly in pain or challenging
sure.
something in the ego thought system, because we're challenged then to actually give over that false responsibility to Holy Spirit,
right,
and go, because we cannot help to heal those we love while we are still falsely responsible for them, because we can't access the peace of God.
right. And I think that's the beauty of the vision. It proves to you that, or the reader, that going into that room, which is what the world says is the most loving, caring, helpful thing you can do, is actually attack. So wringing your hands over a child and feeling falsely responsible and going into their story is attacking, and there's no help there. The light is now, you were the only possibility for light to come into the situation. But by agreeing with the situation, you just ensured that no light could come. The answer is now completely obscure to both of you because you agreed with the illusion and what was happening in the gap. Yeah. You know, sis, this, when two people join in holy relationship, which means I'm not going to go there. I'm holding only the truth about you and for you and with you. The ego knows that fear can't live. It's like trying to strike a match where there's no oxygen. Fear could try, but there's nothing to give it fuel. It can't catch. That is why the ego is so fiercely afraid of any real joining. This is the core of why ego is terrified of love with a capital L. The ego is fear. It cannot exist where divine love is. And where we're joining to remember union, that is the divine love. So this is why we want our privacy. This is why we have bubbles around us. You're getting too close. This is why we people please. This is why we wear masks and we communicate inauthentically, or we as our brother Daniel's been beautifully setting forth, we're communicating from the past. We're not here now, really present with the one that we're communicating with. All of these are the ego's ploy so that nothing real happens. That's it. We're also isolated and alone, and we think that, this is the ego's choice to make sure that love doesn't catch.
Yeah. Well, we're blowing that one out of the water now, aren't we?
Yeah, heck yeah. Heck yes, because the more we share about the demonstrations and our direct experience that we have when the joining occurs, then we're going to want that joining. The ego never wanted us to see this. Ha ha.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see why in the earlier teachings of A Course in Miracles, those first 40 or 5 years or so of teaching A Course in Miracles, that the message of holy relationship was a bit skewed.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, it only takes one to have a holy relationship, not two or more.
Mm-hmm.
And the holy relationship's not with your brothers, it's just with you privately.
Yeah.
And the Holy Spirit. Yeah.
And that's the ego grabbing even spirituality. It tries to find quotes to say, well, you don't need your brother. And I have to just stop and go, can we just back up and just question why the resistance to that idea? It's not even your own resistance. That's the ego going, oh, hell to the no, we're not joining anything but that, because I can't exist when you guys figure this out and join. Yeah. Once you've experienced it, you'll never, ever not want to join. How quickly the greatest blown up, paranoid ego story is put to rest in a joining. It is the fastest way to just pull the rug out.
Well, there's a miracle.
Yeah.
There it is. In that joining, the miracle is.
Yes, that's it. Because you both can't be duped. It needs you isolated, alone, and having it gnawing at your ear for you to go for it.
Yeah. Well, it dies because of lack of a witness, right? The ego.
That's it.
Dies, but it's to exist.
We give it all the life that it has, but it needs us cornered. But when we join with a brother, we're not alone, and the I presence is there, and love is there, and light is there, and darkness and fear have no home. And it can happen so quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, sis.
This has been a great lesson.
Who knew the peace of God is shining in me now would be so, has so many layers. Yeah. The truth is here now, available to all of us. Choose. You want to read that that last little prayer to close us out on this, sis? On 188.
188. Just wait for a minute. Where about?
Sure.
There is one.
It's only 3 lines, but I love to hear you read. I just thought it would be nice to.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. The peace of God is shining in me now. Let all things shine upon me in that peace. And let me bless them with the light in me. Wow, that's so beautiful.
Isn't that lovely?
Oh, I'm feeling that.
Me too.
Oh, beautiful. I accept that. I receive it.
Mm-hmm.
I love you guys too much not to receive it.
That's right. I love you too much to stay in some story that's never been true. I just want to shine back the truth of our shared identity. Yeah. All is well. In all ways. Always. Yeah.
That's profound. Thank you. Got it.
We love you. We love you.
Oh, we do.
We'll see you next time.